songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them are gonna stop at the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you hear to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption songs.
Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself today. I'm pretty sure you're doing well. It's another day, another 30 minutes of conscious, important, thought-provoking, and a time of reflection. I want to welcome all of you once again to Leadership Academy. My name is Nana Osei Bonsu Jr. from Africa International Organization and Certo Leadership International. And as we all know, we have been treating the topic, resetting our minds for some time now. I believe this is the part 4 of resetting our minds as part of Leadership Academy. And as I said from the beginning, it is 30 minutes of reflection, 30 minutes of thought-provoking discussion, 30 minutes of challenging what you have been told, challenging some of the foundational pillars of our lives. Again, like I said, if you want to be a part of this discussion, you're more than welcome to join us. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We have a Zoom link if you want to join the discussion and ask questions, contribute your quota, whatever concerns you have. If you have any dissenting opinions, we don't shy away from that. It's important. I'm actually looking forward to the dissenting opinions and questions, thought-provoking questions. On this platform, we don't entertain insults because insults don't solve problems. We're here to solve problems. And as I said, I just want to do a little recap, give a little background to our discussion today. I'm going to try to speed up a little bit on the background. So we are talking about resetting our minds. And from the past weeks, we spoke about the fact that most of the things happening on the African continent are not happening by chance. It's happening because somebody designed it, or somebody created an environment for us to be in. The culture that was created, I'm not talking about the African culture of dance and festivals, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the culture of thinking that was set up for us. It was designed purposely to keep us in this state. So the issues we spoke about, talking about the system of the world, which is being designed by man to control man, would function properly, would function according to the designs and the the concepts of men who really want to play the control dynamics. So that is the reason why we um, are in the state in which we find ourselves, not just in Africa, but people of African descent everywhere went through that process. And we've established, if you want to see the process, you can check it from our previous videos. We've established those facts that people from the Black or from Africa, African descents went through that process. And one of the things we're going to be talking about today is for us to start creating a culture which will reset our minds, which will change our minds from the old paradigm, the thinking of, oh, the white man is superior, or the thinking of, oh, we can't do this because we're Africans, the thinking of this is not for us, this is not for Black people, thinking of limiting ourselves to the color of our skin. And as I always say on this platform, creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin, but by an educated mind. I want to take a little bit of time to break down the education as compared. Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, I'm so disappointed. This person is so educated, and yet made this." Nah, 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 nah. You cannot be educated and don't spew intelligence. If you are educated, you should spew intelligence. Education is different from schooling. As I said the other time, schooling is us being told or being taught what to do with our lives. Education is when we are enlightened to reveal or to be able to unearth our gifts, when we are enlightened to unearth our gifts to serve the community and the society in which we live. So we realize that our gifts are meant to solve problems within our community. That is education. So when somebody is enlightened about his or her gift and his or her contribution to the development of his community or his environment, his society, then you say such a person is educated. The fact that you've been to school does not make you educated. Schooling is different from education. And schooling is part of the reason why we as Africans specifically are in the state in which we find ourselves. One of the things I spoke about the other time was the identity. When somebody wants to control your culture of thinking, one of the things they'll strip you of is your identity. And that is exactly what was done to us as Africans. We were stripped of our identity. And one of the things, for instance, language is one of the major things, a tool, let me put it that way, one of the major tool for development. Check throughout the history of any developed country or any, let me put it this way, any serious country, you realize that their educational system, their language is very paramount in their educational system. Check. We all talk about Singapore anytime we were talking about developing countries who moved from that stage to a developed stage. We talk about Tanzania. They started it, but it's the process is slow in Tanzania, but at least they got a clue. Talk about any of the countries. Japan was colonized. Um, 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 just think about it. Any of the countries you could think of that is serious. You realize that the local language plays a very important role. That is number one identity issue. And sometimes it's even interesting when we find people who express themselves in other languages like in English or in French or in German, and we equate that to intelligence. Yeah, it's some level of intelligence, but it does not mean that person is more intelligent in terms of creativity. You know, when we talk about language, it is one important ingredient. I want you to note this. It's one important ingredient in the process of our identity. And one of the reasons why I said we are in the state in which we are now is because of our identity crisis. Most people, especially on our continent, our beautiful continent, are going through this issue of identity crisis. You know, I'm not talking about who gave birth to you. I'm not talking about which tribe you belong to. I'm not talking about which lineage. I'm not talking about which home, which village or which town or who gave birth to you. That's not the identity I'm talking about. I'm talking about the identity where you know who you are. Sometimes you watch social media and people want to come and defend themselves. Hey, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. The fact that you're even taking time to defend who you are means you don't even know who you are. And I'm getting serious here. I hope we'll put on our thinking caps and begin to rumble through some of the things we're discussing today. Identity is knowing who you are. And as I said last week, your pride is not a wrong thing. Your pride is part of your identity. Pride is knowing and understanding your identity. That's it for service. When we say you have a pride, sometimes we confuse that with arrogance. No, arrogance is when I feel I am more important than any other person, or you feel you're more important than any other person. And it will interest you to know that arrogance comes out of the identity crisis. Anybody who has an identity crisis is likely to be arrogant. When people are arrogant and pushing over other people and wanting people to believe that they're more important than them, that is where you know the person has an identity crisis. So I'm talking about pride. Pride is an important element, or I would say pride is an important ingredient if a community or a society wants to be serious, because that is where you develop your identity. So you ask yourself, who am I? There's a statement we have what we call the family creed, which my kids recite every night before they go to sleep, which says, I'm a child of destiny. I was born to serve my generation. I'm unique and have something the world needs. The world is never the same with or without me. Therefore, I will not be influenced by my generation negatively, but rather I would influence my society positively. And as we spoke about speaking what you want to see, speaking the things into being, it is not. Some people think it's a spiritual exercise. Well, depending on how you look at it, but it's also psychological exercise when you speak stuff into being. Because as I said the other time, one of the things that really blew my mind when I was researching into my second book, and I came across the fact that one of the first senses, one of the first senses to develop in the human fetus is a sense of hearing. It's the sense of hearing, and it is even believed that is one of the last senses to die when you're about to depart this earth. So it tells you how important what you hear is to the formation of your life, because that is the beginning of your hard drive. and the hard drive needs to be reprogrammed. That is what we are trying to do now. It needs to be reprogrammed because it's been programmed in such a way that we feel inferior. We think of us ourselves as second class citizens. And so one of the things, or one of the major steps we have to start doing, is to speak the positivity on our lives. And you do that, even if it means doing that every day or every morning. It is important that you do that every day or every morning, because speaking is part of shaping. Let me say this: the culture of thinking influences our culture of belief, and our culture of belief influences our attitude, our actions. It influences everything. So, in other words, what you think or your thoughts, okay, forms your belief. So, when you think of yourself as, I'm nobody, I'm a second class citizen, I'm just a black man living in my little corner, in my little village, trying to survive every day. I don't think I'm that important. Um, yeah, well, that's me. Hey, I'm just a little man. I'm just a little woman. I'm just somebody not important doing my own stuff. You know, that is how you think. And then you believe what you think, and then you act out what you think. That is why we have decided that we are going to change what we think. We're going to change our thinking process. And when we begin to think positively, we speak those things we want to see. And as we speak them, we think them. And as we think them, we believe them. And as we believe them, we act out what we think and what we believe. And so the culture of thinking, which was created, as I said, it started from the Greeks, handed down to the Romans, to the British, and on, and it infiltrated our system and our culture. It was not by chance; it was designed to keep us in that state. As I said the other time, Senator Henry Berry said in the Virginia House of Delegates, I believe in 1842 or 1843. He said, "We've come as far as possible to close every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. And if we could extinguish their capacity to see the light, they would then be reduced to the level of the beast of the field, and we should be safe." So it is a calculated attempt. If anybody sits somewhere and tells you, "Oh, I heard some ridiculous statement when some people were saying that the black man was born bad. The black man was born bad." And I'm like, is this person, and they speak it with conviction. It means they believe it. They believe it. And then the next minute you find these same people criticizing, why is this not done? Why is this not done in Africa? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing this? When you have believed and you have thought of the fact that the black man was born bad, why do you expect anything good out of the black man? If that is your belief system, if that is what you are thinking. So it is important that we begin to change the way we think. And how do we change the way we think? It means the hard drive. Those of you who are computer literates, you can help me out here. The hard drive needs to be reprogrammed. And how do we reprogram a hard drive? We feed that hard drive with information that we want to see. What those of you who are computer literates know what they say, garbage in, garbage out, right? So it means that whatever information you feed into the computer or on the hard drive, that's the exact information you're going to get back, right? So we are going to change the way we think by starting to think differently. Let's start to think positively. One of the things I tell people, I'm also a life coach. a youth life coach. So one of the things I tell some of the youth is always look at stuff from the positive perspective. The glass is half full. It is not a lie. It is what you see. It is your vision. You know, vision is the mental image of what could be. Vision is your mental image of what could be. So you envisage the glass to be half full because you envisage that you're going to add up to make it full. But for now, it is half full instead of saying it is half empty. Let's begin to look at positive stuff. Let's begin to affirm positivities in our lives. When things don't be in a haste to speak, don't be in a haste to conclude. That's one of the things that will not help. You know, people are in a haste to conclude. People are in a haste to act or to speak. When you're confronted with an issue, sit back, ask. Insecurity. I was in the security field for a while. There's something we call the five whys, like five W's, sorry. So the why, the when, the who, the how, four W's and H, I believe so. I've forgotten my security, but four W's and H, I believe so. So the why, the what, the who, um, the where, and the how. These are life principles. They're not just for security, they're life principles. These are some of the things that needs to go through our minds. When we say somebody is a thinker, it does not mean the person possesses some peculiar brain power or some peculiar qualities. No, all that is that this person asks questions. Why this? Why that? How is this done? What can be done? How can this be done? Why is this in this state as it is? So you ask questions. That's it. Let us simplify this. Again, when you go to my book, Life is Easy, Don't Make It Hard. Let us simplify this. Let us ask the whys, the W's, and the H. Why is this? Why is that? What is this? How can this be done? When is this needed? You know, who can do this? These are the questions. That is all we need to do. Let's start doing this. Please let us start doing this. And if we ask those questions, we support the questions by answering them positively, by affirming them positively. Why is this in the state in which it is? It is in this state probably to teach me a lesson. It is in this state for me to learn. It is in this state for me to do something about it. One of the things I tell people, anything that bothers you in your community, anything that bothers, if there are some people when they see injustice, they get worried. It means you have that gift to solve that problem of injustice within your community. That is what it is. I have a friend who calls it deep calling deep. You know, so let's begin to ask questions and let's do the positive affirmation. You speak to yourself. You can write certain things. By the close of this discussions, I don't know when we're going to end, but as we get along, getting to the end of it, I'm going to bring out some certain affirmations we need to speak to ourselves. Sometimes you do it in the morning. You can even write it, put it on your dresser or in your bathroom, and stand in the mirror, look at yourself and speak to yourself positively before you walk out of the door. You are as important important as any other person. That is the number one thing you have to tell yourself every morning. I'm as important as Bill Clinton. I'm as important as Obama. As I'm as important as George Bush. I'm as important as Joe Biden. I'm as important as think about it. Anybody you could think of. Anybody you think it's more important. Think of yourself being as important, equally important as that person. And as I said last week, no human being is less important. No human being is less important. Some people are more impactful, more influential. I accept that. But you cannot be more important than me because I am, or I was born with a gift to contribute to the development of the world, just as you were born with a gift to contribute to the development of the world. And so let us begin to find our identity by asking questions. Who am I? Who am I? And as I said, the first thing you have to know that you were born. If you ask yourself, who am I? You tell yourself, I was born to solve a problem in this world. I was born to be equally important as any other personality in this world. And I was born to solve a problem. And now we begin to find out which problem I was born to solve. Let us begin to ask questions. That is the only way we can keep our brain, the hard drive, working. So the number one thing we are programming on the hard drive is our identity. Me. You wake up in the morning. Who am I? You talk to yourself. There is nothing you can do within your scope of gifts. If you are gifted to do it, you are endowed with every capability to do it, to execute it. And so the first thing we're going to start doing is, who am I? And your answer to that is, I was born, or I am XYZ, born to solve a problem in this world. You don't become a problem. You are a problem solver in this world. So look for the problems that you are gifted to solve, because you are a solution to this world. You are unique. Let nobody put you down. One of the things I've started doing is not to buy stuff because of the label on that stuff. You see people, I'm wearing Gucci, I'm wearing Armani. You have an identity crisis. You want to wear somebody to feel important. I told my kids the other time, they were, oh, there's Nike and what have you. I said, why do you want to get Nike? Oh, it's because that's the itch. Everybody is getting Nike. I said, you don't follow everybody. You are unique. And your identity and your pride should not be in somebody's name. Your identity and your pride, it's got to be in your name. So I'm not going to buy take some crazy amount of money to buy something. I will buy it if it's beautiful, but I'm not buying it because it is Gucci, it's Louis Vuitton, it's Giorgio Armani, it's whatever. No, you have an identity crisis if you're buying it because you want people to know that you wear somebody's identity. Let us desist from that attitude. That is one of the things we can start doing by resetting our minds. Let us begin to reset our minds. Again, time is far spent. We've already chopped down our 30 minutes. And as I said, the first assignment we're going to give to ourselves is when we wake up in the morning, we ask ourselves, who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Now let us answer that question with, we are XYZ, born to be a solution to the world, born to solve a problem in this world. And then we begin from there by asking what problems? What are the problems that when I see I can't stand? Or what are the problems that I think about every day? That is so important. That is so important. That is the only way we can gradually change our mindset. Most of the things going on in Africa, it's because of the way we are thinking. Somebody asked me, do you think it's gonna be well with we were talking about Ghana. He was like, I've lost hope in Ghana. Do you think it's gonna be well? I said, yes, I know it's gonna be well. It's not that I think it's gonna be well. I know it's gonna be well because I know we're human beings. We've been programmed in a certain way. But guess what? There are people who are coming up who have deprogrammed themselves and reprogrammed themselves, and they are going to set the tone. They are going to change the system. As of when, I don't know, but I know without a shadow of doubt that we will get out of that craziness. All right. Let me go on Facebook before I get out of here. Oh, I have okay, I don't have any questions on Facebook, but I have Mr. Kwame Mubarak. Hey, long time no see. That's my boss. Oh, I made mention of security. That's my boss. I have Joyce. Is it a Samoa or a Samo? Okay, so Miss Joyce, Kwame are the only two people I see online as of now. Um, Thank you so much for being a part of Leadership Academy. Next week, we're going to continue. Um, Please share, invite friends, let them be a part of this. This is a life transforming moment, 30 minutes of life transforming moment of discussion. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it to yourself alone. Share it and make it a point for you to bring people online to be a part of this discussion. So together we will build ourselves and build our communities, build our continent, and make Africa proud one more time. My name is Nana Osei Bonsu Jr. of Africa International Organizations and Certo Leadership International. Thank you. We will catch you up next week, same time, same place. Bye bye.